Hi, it's Red-Headed Riding Hood, red for short. I got this CODA book called In This Moment Daily Meditation Book. So I'm gonna read from today's, December 19th. And it's interesting because it's about clutter. In this moment, I sit amid the chaos of my clutter. As usual, the desk is littered with papers. So is the floor. As I glance around, I realize I need to find a home for a bunch of stuff. Ever feel that way? I took a workshop on how to declutter, but threw away the handouts, knowing they'd become clutter if I let them stay around. Is there a spiritual dimension to this problem? I feel powerless over my clutter. I struggle to create order in disorder. I share about this issue with friends in recovery and know I'm not alone. I humbly ask my higher power to remove this shortcoming. I can make amends to my spouse and myself one day at a time if I put things away and throw things away. I need to work at it, and it works when I work it. I thought this was interesting because I didn't expect, I just, got this yesterday at my CODA group, and I really like the materials. And yeah, this is a topic with me because I downsized so much when I left Georgia in 2020, and I'm getting ready to move again. Sometime in 2025, I'm going to move to Pennsylvania. I'm not sure if I will be ready to leave here in February, but I'm moving out of this apartment, so I'm going to have to get rid of a lot of stuff or get a storage. And I like to save money on not getting a storage, and I was able to do that amazingly in 2020 because I had so much stuff. And the papers get out of control, like she says in this art. I imagine they don't put the author on these, but I imagine it is a woman, I guess, because I'm a woman. It might be a man though. But she says, the papers were a lot of work. And it took me 3 weeks after I sold my house, all the little things and the papers I had to go through, because I would be like, I'm gonna go through these papers, and then I'd get a plastic box and I'd put them in them, put them away and forget about them. So I had all these plastic boxes full of papers that I had to go through, and every little picture, my children, oh, I love you, mommy, and that might have been a child that's not talking to me right at this moment. And so, it was so emotional. I had every little award my kids got. I didn't know if they wanted them or not. I put them in a storage for my daughter to get, my oldest daughter to get. And I sent her the key after I had left Georgia, because we weren't speaking at that moment. And I put all of their awards in a plastic box. I mean, from 5K awards to Awana awards, school awards, and I had them all. And honor roll awards, and wood things my dad had made for them, little trucks and trains. Like my oldest daughter sent a little wooden train to my middle daughter that my dad had made, because my middle daughter has my oldest two granddaughters. And stuff like that. Little cabbage patch that was from my, I didn't know if my daughter wanted it or not. I put that in the storage for her, and little books I read to them and stuff and when I traveled, and this is what made it, I don't recommend this. This is what made it more nervous for me to travel around in my RV, is that I had all my earthly possessions in my RV when I was traveling around in it. And I don't recommend doing that. That made me more, I'm like, what if I had all these photographs, and I gave the big bulky photograph albums to my daughter and put them in that storage. And then that storage I only had for a month, and thankfully she went and got it. The person that I was living with, I called her my friend, but she I realized later, sometimes I call a person in my life a friend, and they were just really in my life for their convenience, and I saw them as a friend, it was convenient for me to have that person in my life, but they weren't really necessarily a friend. So my friend goes, well, what if she doesn't go get it? And I'm like, that's not the point. But thankfully she did go get it. And I'm like, because I was like, if you get it, and she didn't have that much time either, because I sent her it took me 3 weeks in September from the first day of fall 2020 is when I left Georgia, and I had sold my house the end of August. So I was in a hotel room sorting through. I'm like, the people at this hotel think I'm a freaking weirdo, but anyways, because I had all this stuff, and I was, going from my car to the, taking papers to the recyclable, taking stuff to the Goodwill, giving stuff to a friend, a genuine friend, Lillian in Georgia, who sold stuff on Facebook, and just letting go, and I ended up with this 5x10 storage, and I really gave her stuff that I just wasn't sure about, that I didn't want anymore. A doll my mom had from the Philippines. It was falling apart. I'm like, I don't know what to do with this, and I don't want to give this away. Let her, and I said, put it in your debt. My ex has this big, huge house. I said, go sort it out at Dad's, and thankfully she went and got it. I didn't have to. I'm like, if you get it before the end of the month, and I wanted to pay for another month, and it happened to be my October, my birthday month, so thanks. That was small gift, but my quote unquote friend Gladys was like, what if she doesn't go get it? And I'm like, doesn't matter if she doesn't go get it. I sorted it all out for her, and I think she did appreciate it, because we were speaking for a little while after that, and they got a Mother's Day gift after that. So, but yeah. So that's my story about downsizing. I'm eventually going to make a video. I have thought that someday, I don't know if I will do this though, because the writing, I don't know if I would have time, but I thought I could even start a business to help people downsize. That could be a thing, because I feel like an expert in it now. And I have the footage and pictures. I had 2,000 books. I had 100 stuffed animals. I had a teddy bear collection. My son's name is Teddy, so everybody would give him teddy bears, and he didn't necessarily want to keep them all. So I had a teddy bear collection. This is one I got 2 years ago. It's so soft and lovely. It was from Target. I got one for my granddaughter too. But I had probably 200 stuffed animals. I had 100 or maybe more than 100 dolls. I had a lot of dolls also, in different kinds of dolls. I had the ceramic face dolls. I had Barbie dolls. I had collections. I had an owl collection. I had a lighthouse collection. I had an angel collection. I sold the whole angel collection to this lady. And I even threw in the book Angels by Billy Graham, because I had so many books too. I had 2,000 books, and then in the smaller house, I actually counted them. I had over 2,000 books in the big house, I'm sure. I tried to get rid of some when I moved to the 1,600 square foot house from the 3,400 square foot house. But I still had like 1,600 because I counted them. I counted them in 2020. I put them in stacks of 20 and counted them that way. So, and had 1,600 books, which mostly went, I sold a few. I had like 200 CDs. I had like 100 DVDs, which I would sell good DVDs like, and I got down to selling them I was selling stuff cheap, but I made $4,000 because I had so much stuff, and I sold big stuff like my furniture. I had this beautiful sofa, but a rat got in it, and I'm like, oh gosh, I love this sofa. It's so beautiful, but you know, I didn't feel like I could. I got the rat out of it, like, because my house got infested with rats. I have a video on that. My house got infested with rats, and I got rid of the rats before I put my house on the market. So it was pretty intense, y'all. It was pretty intense. So, but anyways, like beating the sofa with a broom, and my friend's pit bull. My friend was living with me, my quote unquote friend was living with me before she went up to St. Louis. She was in the Air Force, and her pit bull, and we're beating. He discovered that the rat was in the sofa. This is funny. I didn't expect to go into the story here, but this will make this more interesting and maybe get these views up on this video. But because Blue was sniffing around the sofa, I'm like, oh no, there's a rat in my sofa. Because they got in the other sofa, and I threw it out, the sleeper sofa in my den, and I shoved the sofa off my back porch. It was so heavy. I took everything all apart because it was just so heavy. It was one of those sleeper sofas. And I put it in the garbage, and I put a note on it. What rat infested, because you don't want stuff, because the rats smell the rats that were there before, and they're drawn to that smell. So this, you know, was do not take. And guess what? I think I knew who it was. It was my neighbor across the street. She took everything that I threw away. Just let me put, it was funny because her name was Susan. Just let me put this out there for Susan. Susan's putting this out in the garbage for Susan. But anyways, they took that. So this beautiful sofa, it was one my ex had picked out. He had picked out everything, but I liked it. So he let me take it from the big house. And I love the sofa, and I only sold it for $20. A young couple, they were expecting a baby too. And the guys came and picked that up for her, and I just charged her $20. I did not say why I was only selling it for $20, because it was like $1,000 beautiful sofa, but I sold it for $20 to this young couple. And I just like stuff like that. I gave stuff away. I had a little Mickey that was so cute, and it used to talk, and I don't know if you could get it talking again, but I gave it to a little kid at the park. I was like, does he like Mickey? He was like, I don't know, 3 or 4 or something. And I just had it in my car, and I'm like, I got it. I was just like left and right. I was like, let me sell this, give this away, donate this. take the papers to the recycle. So much papers. I found out I had accidentally took tax papers, and you're supposed to keep them 7 years back. Well, I had tax stuff from 1995. Rip. I didn't have a shredder anymore. I guess I could have borrowed, I was trying to do all this in secret, but I donated my silverware, and I just said there's so much stuff here and there in the hotel room, in the storage, in my car. I had a U-Haul for a minute, for one day, to get the stuff out of the house and take it to the storage. And but then I got it down to all fitting in my car and going up to St. Louis, and then I fit it all in my RV. And I was thinking of staying out in California, but I didn't. I ended up being based in St. Louis by my friend, quote unquote friend, while I traveled in my RV. And then in 2022, I sold my RV and moved to Denver and put everything I owned again in my RAV4 hybrid and came here to Denver. So yeah, that's my downsizing story. And I'm gonna let you go now. Don't say that no one cares for you, because I do, and God does too. Don't forget to pray for Red, because Red is praying for you. Bye.